Alright, good morning everybody and welcome back to True Crime Loser. I hope you're doing well. So folks, today we're going to talk about the Donna Adelson arrest. Body cam footage Law and Crime Network posted to their YouTube channel about a week ago. It's amazing stuff. Watching it is like watching a surreal fever dream at the airport. Even just seeing the airport lighting and hearing the smooth airport jazz that makes it feel like hell's waiting room, I could almost taste a gross $19 sandwich that was made fresh 80 hours ago. It's all right. It tastes pretty good. I think that everything that happens with this case at this point feels a little bit surreal because it took so long for everything to get going. 10 years goes by. It's normal to have the feeling, well, I guess nothing is going to happen with this one. It's unbelievable. The Adelsons are going to weasel their way out. Sad stuff. And then to have that feeling for so many years, and then all of a sudden the ball starts rolling so hard and fast, to even just hear that moment after all of these years of Donna Adelson being arrested at the airport trying to move to Vietnam, even just hearing that happened was one thing, but to get to witness it on the body cam footage after all these years is a surreal experience. And then it feels like a fever dream because it's filmed on the body cam footage, so every shot is crooked and off-putting or bizarrely zoomed in and off-center, and it distorts the lighting, and there's a bunch of random ringing and dings and buzzes, and it really does make for some amazing footage. Even with everything that's happened recently, there's still a little part of my brain that's going, there's no way Wendy is going to get arrested. There's no way. And then another part of my brain answers that part and goes, why? What are you talking about? She probably definitely is. And then that first part goes, well, I don't know. It's been so long. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And I think that kind of sums up how this case feels at this moment. There's mind-blowing occurrence after mind-blowing occurrence because for so long it didn't feel like anything was going to happen. So let's talk about this amazing footage of old Donna going down at the airport. I was always wondering, like, where did it happen? How far through the airport did they get? So they got through the initial security. That's pretty wild. Think about, because you got to give your passport at that. So they were probably the hearts pounding, the butthole sweating. Oh my gosh, we're going through security. Are we going to make it? And then you give your passport to that first one. They look at it. You put your bags through, and they got through that one. So they were probably thinking, all right, like if it was going to go down, it feels like it would have gone down at the security at that main first checkpoint. Now we're past that. We're to the gate. Look at, we're going to Vietnam, baby. Woo! And it looks like what happened is they started boarding, and they looked like they gave their boarding pass, and then at that point they must have been stopped or something, because the footage picks up with either like an airport cop or a Florida cop holding their passport. So at that point, they're at their gate, they're ready to board. Vietnam, here we come. Let me see your guys' passport. So they have to hand it over, and then they don't know if it's going full arrest or if they're just going to jam them up for a little bit. So I'm sure Harvey and Donna, again, are just sweating through their comfortable airport clothes. And another FBI agent walks in. The person that's holding the passports points at Donna like, this is the lady. There's a couple other plainclothes FBI agents. They go in. Everybody's kind of talking and interrupting each other, and you get to hear the wild historical moment of, are you Donna Adelson? Yeah, you are under arrest for the murder of Dan Markel. There's a chance that the last words that Donna Adelson hears as a free woman for her whole life is the words Dan Markel. And you got to think this was Donna's deepest, darkest nightmare, daymare, her worst fear. When is it going to happen? The anticipation, life-ruining stress and anticipation, waiting to see if this moment is going to happen or not. And here it is right in front of her. She's living her nightmare. You are under arrest. And her response was, oh, here we go. It's like the tone is a little off with the, this is absurd, but it's not a bad, Here we go. That's right, Donna. Here we go. It's happening whether you like it or not. So she goes, oh, here we go. And then there's a quick, hilarious, pathetic tug of war for her phone because they say, you're arrested for the murder of Dan Markel. And then another FBI agent goes, cell phone, and reaches out. She's holding it and grabs it. And Donna goes, no, my attorney said not to give it to you. But it's like, Donna, you're a decade past it being voluntary. Then the FBI agent kind of just rips it from her, like, give me that, you old crone. And Harvey's going, no, I don't want to give it to you. And they're like, what are you talking about, Harvey? And then it really gets like everybody's talking at the same time. And this is where it starts to feel like a fever dream. And they take her phone. And this is when she enters into my favorite little section of the arrest part, which I call the "this is insane" section. And she twice in a row is just goes, this is insane. And then she says it the second time, but it doesn't have the enthusiasm that the first one has. It's kind of just like, this is insane, because there's no weight to saying that this situation is insane, because it's just not. An Adelson being arrested for in connection with the murder of Dan is just not insane. It's possibly one of the least insane things that's happened in the past 4 years. And so going, this is insane, it's not really gonna do anything. And what it kind of reminded me of is one of my favorite things in the world to witness is when you're somewhere where everybody's like chants together. So either a sporting event or a political rally where everybody's chanting the same thing, and then the chant slowly dies and it's quiet and there's not a chant. So it's available to start the new chant. So then someone decides, all right, I'm going to start the new chant, but it's big risk, big reward, because if you go to start the new chant and no one else joins in, you're just an idiot yelling by yourself. And so it's quiet, a new chant needs to be started. I'm going to do it. And someone goes, new chant, new chant. And if the first couple, they got to bring the enthusiasm. But if no one joins in, you get to hear the enthusiasm wane a little bit. So it goes, new chant, new chant. And then it really starts to peter out as they're feeling no support. And they're just realizing, I'm just someone screaming by myself. So then it starts to peter out. And they go, new chant. Damn it. And then they're just the person that failed to start the new chant for the rest of the night. Doesn't matter what your job is or how cool you are. For the rest of that night, you are the failed chant starter. But that's what it kind of reminded me of when Donna's going, this is insane. And then the next one goes, this is insane. And just no one's responding to it. And no one cares because it's not insane. No one wants to end up the Bats old lady that's wildly claiming this is insane while they're getting arrested by the FBI at the airport. But every generation has got to have one, and Donna is ours. So there you go. So she's going, this is insane, and no one is responding to it as if it really is insane. And they handcuff her, and Harvey goes, oh, come on, you don't need to handcuff her. She's not going anywhere. It's like she has a one-way ticket to Vietnam in her pocket right now. What are you talking about? She's not going anywhere. And Harvey is going, oh, please don't do this. Oh, please, this is a mistake. This is another mistake. You made 2 mistakes talking about Charlie. And again, it's like saying this is insane. It's like no one is reacting to that like, you know what, he's right. I feel bad about this. It's like, yeah, what are you doing? And Donna goes, my husband's 80. Can he come with me? And one of the FBI agents goes, to jail? And then they're both like, yeah. And then Donna has to take off all of her rings, like symbolically taking her wedding ring off. And she's going, ugh. She's kind of still a little bit in the like, this is insane. But it's like slowly fading away. And she's sort of acting a little bit more respectful, or acting pretty well, actually. And there was the top comment when I first watched this. I don't know if it still is, but the top comment basically said something like, this footage is gold. It's unbelievable to see it after all these years. And then it ended with basically saying something like, you know, Donna handled the whole thing pretty well, or better than I thought, or something like that. And what I think that is I think, one, Donna is too proud of a person to give her enemies the satisfaction of seeing her totally lose it and throw herself on the floor and create an embarrassing situation. So she's, I think, gonna think in her head, like, all right, I've been saying this is insane and this is insane, but then quickly realize, all right, that's not working at all. I want the news story to be, I was tough, I was a rock, I was brave. And I think she thought about that, like, what's the news story gonna be? Something like that. But then also just the immediate, we as humans, once you get handcuffed and there's the people at the airport are just staring at her. Everyone else that's waiting to get on that plane that they've delayed because they got to arrest Donna is kind of just staring at him. One of the body camera, he turns around and you can just see the line of people waiting a little bit like, what the hell is this little old lady getting arrested for? And then a little bit of like, how is everything at the airport delayed? Even if the plane's on time and it works and they have a crew and the weather's good, now some old lady gets arrested. I just want one flight that's on time. And so you could see everybody watching like, what is going on? So Donna has to take all of her jewelry off, and she's slowly kind of just being like more of like putting on her brave face. And then they do where she goes, I need my medication out of my bag. And they go, no, we can't bring it. You'll meet with the doctor and the nurse at the jail, and they'll get you your medication. She goes, well, I don't have a list of it. And then once I think that's the moment with the medication where she goes, I don't have a list. And they still go, I don't know. And she goes, I think she kind of has a resolve at that point. Like, all right, this is happening. It doesn't matter if I say, this is insane, or say, what about my medication? It's happening, so I'm just gonna, and I think she kind of, you almost see her like shake her head, like, all right, let's just do this. And she says, can someone get my husband out of here? She's acting like he's just so old that without her, he's gonna crumble. And one of my favorite parts, an underrated moment of the whole footage, I think, is there's that historical, unbelievable moment of her being arrested back there. It's her worst nightmare, a family being pulled apart. Nothing will ever be the same for the Adelsons, this big, heavy moment. And then they walk out into the airport, and it's just the smooth airport jazz with the seemingly never-ending saxophone solo. And just the juxtaposition from that heavy moment, you are under arrest, my husband's 80, please, this is insane. And then boom, they're just right out in the airport, the saxophone solo, balloons, and she has the longest perp walk I think I've ever seen, because they're like so far into the airport, all the way at the gate. Think about how long they have to go all the way out, but we end up with really amazing fever dreamy moments like this one. When would you ever think about all the crazy things that had to happen, even just to have that bizarre little chunk of footage? So they walk, takes forever. They walk all the way out of the airport and then into like a parking garage, like the overhang has the dystopian parking garage lighting. So then they walk her out all the way and then finally put her in a police car. And I didn't know they did this, but once they put her into the police car, there's like a little bracket or something that holds the body cam. So once he finally got her in the police car, he took the body camera off and said to Donna, I'm going to film you, and then locked it into place. So every shot of the whole thing until that point is totally crooked, and it's like off, and it's all distorted. And then all of a sudden she's alone in the cop car, and the frame just boom, locks right there, and it's just you and Donna. And it's a wild moment. You can see the lighting of the parking garage behind her, and she's just sitting in the cop car. And I saw an article that described her sitting in the cop car as expressionless, and I couldn't disagree more. You can see everything that woman is thinking. And I think a big percentage of it, which is really satisfying, she's sitting there, and I think it's at 13 minutes, like 29 seconds, something like that. She just goes, and I think that little head shake is just her thinking, This was beyond stupid. I think a little tiny percentage in there thinks too, like, even though they know that I was a part of this, they don't have the evidence to arrest me. I think she thinks that there isn't enough to pin it on her. So there's a little bit of frustration of like, if there's technically not enough to pin it on me, why am I arrested? But I think a big chunk of her sitting there in the back of the police car is just her thinking, this was so dumb. This was beyond stupid. And then she needs some water at some point. It starts to click around, but this whole thing took hours. And she starts to click around and she goes, can I have some water? Can I have a little bit of water? And they end up, she looks like a little baby bird, and they're like feeding, like the mother birds, they're pouring the water in her mouth, and she's being respectful and they're being really respectful to her. And then she's sitting there and time is going by, and I think it's getting really boring and it looks like it's hot and humid. And she asked, this is one of my favorite parts too, where she asked just some cop that's standing there, I think he was the one that giving her the water. She goes, where are we going next? How long are we just going to sit here? And he goes, well, the warrant that you have is in a different county, so we got to do something with that. And Donna goes, there's a warrant? When was there a warrant? How was I supposed to know there was a warrant? No one told me that there was a warrant. And the cop that she's talking to just goes, yeah, I don't know the details. And Donna goes, yeah, I don't know him either. But what I wish that cop would have said when she goes, how was I supposed to know there was a warrant? Aren't they supposed to tell you when there's a warrant? That cop should have said, yeah, especially when there's, like in your case, a warrant for murder, they come immediately to tell you about it. That's this. Believe it or not, you're smack dab in the middle of them telling you all about it. Because that's funny. I think Donna thought they called you up. Hey, Donna, how you doing? Yep, we got the warrant. We're going to come. Your life is over. So if you want to like try to go to Vietnam or something, now would be the time. And so Donna's going, dude, shouldn't they tell me? I didn't know that there was a warrant. But it ends respectfully. Yeah, I don't know the details. Yeah, me neither. And then they go to one place, and it's kind of wild to see, they starts out in the airport, which is designed for the public, and there's the lighting and the music, and then it goes out to the parking garage, which is always depressing lighting, and then it goes to the jail where she gets kind of signed in, and there's a big red sign that says prisoner entrance. That's really where it gets rammed home. And then they go to the last place, and it's got the typical sinister fences with the razor wire. It's like going from a public, well-lit area at the airport all the way slowly but surely to seeing the sinister razor wire on the fence. And it's pretty wild to think she hasn't been home. She hasn't done anything since that footage was taken except a few court appearances and sit in her jail cell. I would guess that her and her lawyer are going to be pushing to get things started as fast as possible. They probably want the trial to start now in January, so it'll be interesting to see how that whole thing plays out. The evidence is similar to Charlie's trial, and just absolutely wild stuff. But it's good to be back, everybody. I got some hopefully fun episodes planned. I love you all. See you next time. Why, Stivin, why, Shamita.